friends. I'm Antoinette Chanel, and this is my 2021 year-end review. "2021 was a transformative year for me. I experienced painful losses and had to adjust my worldview in order to stay happy and moving forward despite such experiences. I didn't know what to expect. I just knew that I wanted the year to be different from the last one, and I think all of us came into 2021 wanting it to be very different from 2020, what we had just experienced. The start of the year was rocky. That Capitol riot, you guys, I'm still healing from the trauma of watching that, the imagery of that, and also witnessing just the unveiling of the fact that we have this population that exists here in the United States right now. That was kind of scary. But not long after the Capitol riot, a close couple friends of ours, they lost their baby. They had a 7-month-old baby, and unfortunately she was born prematurely. She came home for a little bit from the hospital, but she did not make it, and so she passed away around the 3rd week of January, and we attended her memorial service. And I don't know if you've ever been to a memorial service for a baby before, but it's just as sad as it sounds. All of January was so heartbreaking for me. February was a little better, but still rough. I realized in February that I didn't want to coach business owners anymore, but I didn't know what to do. And it was at that point that I also parted ways with a networking group that I was involved in. March was the kickoff of my year, so to speak. February and January were kind of hazy months, so to speak. And they were also full of a lot of really painful, sad experiences for me. But like I said, March is when my year really started, because that's when I started making moves to benefit me and only me. I told myself that I wanted to try being selfish for a change, and it worked nicely. This led to me creating a ton. Teachable videos, new affirmations for creatives, the indie author workshop that I hosted in June of this year, the self-care summit that I hosted with my friend Cassandra. Shout out Cassandra. I just started standing on my own 2 feet during this time. By April, I was sitting down to meet with Short Media, which shout out to Short Media, by the way. You guys are so awesome. I'm so glad that I got to meet you this year and I got to work with you. But I hired the editing team over at Short Media to edit some videos for me, which was a huge step. I was really scared. I have major trust issues, so I'm still surprised that I did that, but I'm proud of myself too, because as a business owner, I need to delegate stuff out and stop trying to do everything by myself. I'm actually still surprised that I let somebody else edit me. But Short Media was awesome. You guys did a great job. I can't recommend you guys enough. And it was around this time that I met my sister from another life, Kara. Okay, Kara gets a mention in my year-end video because that girl literally came along and was like, "Bitch, be fabulous already." I needed that. And as it turned out, she actually needed my help too, so it was a match made in only child heaven. Kara and I both produced podcast episodes in response to an Elle article that she actually shared with me that was written by Brianna Prooker. And Brianna actually found my podcast episode and responded to it, did a shout out on Instagram, and I was like, "Hey, this is the girl." So that led to me and her and Kara all getting to know each other and becoming friends. And I think we're gonna actually record another episode together for Kara's podcast next year. So I'm really excited about that. It's sad how difficult it is for women to just protect themselves. It's amazing how many people will take offense to a woman simply protecting herself or standing up for herself. Everyone has a problem with a woman standing up for herself for lots of reasons, and that became apparent in 2021 as we witnessed things like the Britney Spears conservatorship case, and also seeing how reproductive rights are being handled in the state of Texas right now. I did a boudoir shoot for my birthday in May, which was super, super exciting. I can't share the photos with you because my husband won't let me, but they're awesome. That photo shoot was powerful for me because I actually felt sexy and beautiful, and I leaned into that more this year for myself, especially because there are several businesses, commentators, lazy celebrities, and such who want dark-skinned women like me to buy into this idea that we're not desirable, or that we are disposable, or that nobody wants to be with us and everybody wants us to get the hell out of the way, we annoy everyone. This whole narrative has been going on for at least the last 2 decades. And this is backed up by the fact that the skin bleaching industry was valued at $4.74 billion at the end of 2020. The numbers for 2021 aren't out yet. Some women reach for that, and I'm not here to judge that part. Everyone has insecurities, but I elevated my self-love in 2021 after doing that boudoir shoot, because I was able to see myself differently after seeing those images. And given the momentum that I was kind of moving on with just being on my own path, doing my own thing, really digging down into what it is that I want to do, that just led to a whole wave of empowerment that I desperately needed. And so I got that in 2021. And from there, the canvases were born. Ah! And not long after the canvases, connecting the dots was done. Well, the content of it was finished anyway. We still needed to digitize Aurelio's drawings. I still needed to type up all of my notes for what I had written so that I could have them in text form. So we finished the content for the book during the summer, but it took us a little bit after that to assemble it and get the layout and all that stuff done so that we could have a finished book. And of course, as soon as we finished the content for the book, that's when anxiety got its hold on me. I figured out in 2021 that I don't like to finish things, or at least my anxious brain doesn't like it when I finish things. So I had to work really hard to move that out of the way because it was a huge obstacle, and I didn't want to let my partner down, you know? Aurelio was over here finished with all of his stuff, and I just felt like I was holding everything up, and I felt so guilty and anxious and crummy in those moments. Then I had to call out my local school board. I'm not going to get into all of the details of that. If you've been following me for the last 3 months, then you probably are aware of what happened when I went to visit my school board. And just when I thought that things couldn't get any worse, I had to put my dog down. He had been our pet for 15 years, and that was the hardest thing that I've ever had to do. And yes, I said ever, so that means that it was harder than moving away from San Diego. It was harder than having to say goodbye to my grandmother at age 6. It was harder than having to lose a dear friend to cancer in 2012. It was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. And I miss him so much. We all miss him so much right now, but it's better that he's gone. He was very sick. My entire outlook changed after I lost Puppykins. My view on life was already changing, but it became drastically different after saying bye to him. And I detailed the emotional roller coaster of all of that in an article that was published on Collective World. With a heavy heart and a forever altered outlook, I started a new chapter by getting a part-time job at my local community college. Now that my kids are both in school and out of the house for a big chunk of the day, it's not as crucial for me to be here at the house anymore. And so getting the part-time job was really beneficial for me in creating some better boundaries between myself and my children and conceptualizing who I was outside of my role as a wife and a mom. And the part-time job is not an abandonment of the other things that I like to work on. It's just something that gives me a little bit of structure and somewhere to go 3 mornings a week and an excuse to wear my nice clothes. I tend to be a happier person when I have a variety of things to do. So the part-time job giving me something else to do in addition to the other projects and stuff that I work on, it just made me feel so much more balanced. Okay, November 1st was launch day for Connecting the Dots, and you guys, I owe you all such a huge thank you because every single one of my friends and followers, you guys assembled like Voltron to make sure that the launch for this book went so well, and me and Aurelio are so grateful. And as a result of your help and your efforts, this book was trending at number 12 in art therapy and relaxation on Amazon during its first 2 weeks of being out, so that was cool. And the final 2 months of this year saw me doing a lot of in-person appearances in support of Connecting the Dots. I've had such a good time getting out, getting to speak to readers and tell people about the inspiration behind this book and hear stories of how this book is helping so many people with managing their stress and anxiety, which is exactly what we wanted it to be. So I'm just so grateful. And I know that Aurelio, if he was here right now on this video, he would say that his heart was totally full, just like mine is. So overall, this year was extremely challenging. It contained a lot of painful circumstances for me, and I can't minimize that at all. It also saw me having to stand on my own 2 feet in a way that I had never done so before. I had never had to do so before. I'm a much tougher Antoinette now, and that's exactly what I need to be if I'm gonna make anything out of this publishing company that I'm launching. Something I've never really been that good at before was standing up for myself, but 2021 was the year that I stood up for myself once and for all. I confronted more people who have wronged me than ever before in my life. And I snatched the closure that I desperately needed in several situations that were left open or unresolved, not necessarily because of my actions or words. It's funny, as soon as I got the courage to start letting go of the things that were no longer serving me, letting go of people and relationships that were no longer serving me, letting go of habits or actions that were no longer serving me, it's like new things came and took up that extra space once I made the room for them. New opportunities suddenly found a way in once there was room for them. And so I got to realize the power of letting go and releasing things that are not good for me in 2021. Today's date is December 22nd, and I am so thankful for where I sit at the end of this year. To everyone who has traveled this journey with me, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for your support. Thank you for the laughs. Thank you for the memories. I can't wait to make new ones in 2022. Are you excited? I hope you are. And lastly, my loves, don't set out to be a different person in the new year, but instead aim for being an improved version of the already dynamite person that you are. Trust yourself. If you know that something's bad for you, skip it, even if that means having to upset some people. You are never wrong for defending yourself. You're number one when it comes to your personal defense. So defending yourself is something that you should automatically do, and don't accept anyone trying to guilt you or shame you for simply standing up for yourself. Protect your peace from people who are jealous that they can't have it. Protect your energy from people who don't know how to use it properly. Stay true to yourself and radiate your light, and the ones who are meant for you will come and find you, I promise. Thank you so much for taking a look at my year-end review. I am Antoinette Chanel, and I'm signing off for the last time, or one of the last times in 2021. So as always, I'm gonna tell y'all, take care, my loves, and keep shining. I'll see you in 2022.